Hi folks, this is Linda Cheek with the Wilkes Chamber of Commerce, and we're glad to be here today at Mountain TV. As our guest today, we have John Johnson with the Foothills Outdoor Adventures, located in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. John, it's great to have you today.
Thank you.
Tell us about Foothills.
Foothills Outdoor Adventures is located, uniquely located on the Yadkin River and at W. Kerr Scott Lake. And one of the thoughts is when we originally considered the outdoor adventure world, we wanted to go to the epitome in terms of location and lack of services in the outfitters world. So we went into the business at the Yadkin River and Wilkesboro, and it is the combination. I think we might be the only people in the state that has the privilege of being able to service a lake and the river simultaneously. We're within a mile of the W. Kerr Scott Lake, which is a federal reservoir that controls the Yadkin River. And so we elected to put our business there. We're on the river, and we're within a mile of the W. Kerr Scott Lake. And the various types of rentals that we have, we try to be as diversified as possible. But we have pontoon boats that we rent, several of those, and we have tubes that we can rent for people to pull their guests behind the pontoon boats on the lake. We have paddle boats or pedal boats that we that people can. It's a little physical, but we can paddle around on that. We have canoes, kayaks, stand-up paddle boards, which is becoming very popular. We have the stand-up paddle boards, and we also have, we're the only people east of the Mississippi that is capitalizing on river tubs. And a river tub, by explanation, actually, if you can recall the days of tin tubs and this type of thing, but it's just nothing but a tub, and locally you might recognize it as a livestock tank.
Yes, it looks like that.
Right, where cattle and horses drink water from. And so it has no weight limit. We have them 8 feet in diameter, 6 feet in diameter, and it has no age factor. We have children, we have grandparents, and you stay dry. It's the only thing on a river that you can collectively be together. You can be on a canoe or a kayak, but you're not really within the same group. So on the tub, we furnish, it's an empty tub, we furnish a couple of coolers for each side of the tub for the paddlers.
Okay.
And the paddlers, it does two things. It allows a seat for the paddler, and also being storage for your ice for a picnic, and we have chairs that we can sit in it, in the tub. And we recently had a situation where there's a lady in her 80s that was very reluctant about getting in the tub. And so she did at the influence of her children. And so after being a little bit reserved about doing it after a 4-hour float, she was the happiest one of all and wanted to come back soon.
Oh, it's a great story. Great story.
But
you do kayaks and canoes as well?
Yes, we got kayaks, canoes, and stand-up paddle boards in terms of the river or the lake. And this is one of the things that we have, as well as Linda is the president of the chamber in Wilkesboro and has been overly helpful in with not only my business but all businesses in the Wilkes-Barre area of making it a better place to go. And we are uniquely niched in a little spot in heaven. And but we have the canoes and kayaks, and the kayaks and canoes are for either the lake or the river.
Right.
Another thing, and we have an awful lot, we have various campsites at the W. Kerr Scott Lake.
Right, we
do. And we work closely with the Corps of Engineers.
At their campgrounds.
At the campgrounds, and we can personally take the rental over to your campsite with authorization of the of the Corps.
When someone rents like a pontoon boat, do you actually put the boat in for them at the lake, or do they have to have a trailer hitched to pull it, or how's that work?
That's a very good question, Linda. What we do we do customize or personalize the service. Sort of trying to hit two birds with one stone. At the we launch at the visitor center, and the reason we do that is they have parking there. We have a shelter there if it's not booked,
Right.
and so we bring the boat to the dock
At the visitor center.
at the
Okay.
visitor center, and you can have parking there. So you take your goods onto the boat, and we give you the boat. We bring it to you full of fuel. And then once your time factors up, you bring the boat in, and you're back where your car's parked. You're ready to go. We take the boat, and it's a very simple and very easy way to do it. And at the same time, it allows you, if you're from out of town or if you're local, a lot of people have never, but the visitor center has an awful lot to offer in terms of the environmental elements of our
mapping of the lake.
on the mapping. And of course, a lot of things we've been going through this pollution thing of rivers.
Right.
And one of the advantages that we have at the Yadkin River is that the dam, the lake is man-made, as you well know, and it controls the flow of the river. And if I understand it correctly, the river originates in Blue and Rock and Boone, Watauga County.
Blue and Rock.
So it's got to be the purest and the best water because
Absolutely.
it's not at the end of the river, it's at the beginning. Yeah, exactly.
Is the flow of the river pretty high, for canoeists too? There's not a lot of areas that's really low, a lot of rocks or anything.
We have, on the upper side, we have different runs in terms of the tub, canoes, and kayaks. We have a run from Ferguson down to Marley's Ford, which is about a 3-hour float on a canoe or kayak, 4 to 4.5 hour on the tubs.
Okay.
And we also have tubes, I might add, tubes for floating the river, and we also have tubes that you could rent for the pontoon boat for people to be pulled on the pontoon boat as well, Linda. But the flow of the river is it's easy flowing. It's not whitewater rafting. All of our canoes and our kayaks are sit on tops, which makes it very friendly for less experienced people or experienced people.
Right. Do you offer instruction? Because it's the first timer. Maybe you have someone who's never kayaked or canoed or driven a pontoon boat. So do you offer some instruction before they take off and help them out just a little bit?
Yes, we do, Linda. We especially we emphasize the safety.
Right.
And we absolutely, on the pontoon boats, any child 12 years old or younger is required at all times to have a life preserver on.
That's good.
And we, when someone books a pontoon, we get the weight of the small children so that we can put the appropriate life preserver on the child. And but it
like size and everything.
Yes.
You mentioned that you can put him at Ferguson to Marley Ford. What are some of the other trips that you're offering, and what's the distance in those trips?
The trip the one that's on the upper side of the lake, and that's from Ferguson down to Marley Ford, and that's about 7.1 mile, if I remember correctly.
How long does it take you to do 7.1 miles?
And it's approximately, on the tub, it's approximately 4 hours.
4 hours, okay.
And could be a little bit longer. Sometimes our guest prefers to stay to go on shore and have a little picnic, and we have no objections to that.
Sure.
And the biggest thing that we on the runs, we've got them categorized, and that's the first run, and then we have another run from the spill, which is on the lower side of the lake, and we have that float that goes down to Smoots Park as another run.
That's a good long one.
And that's a good long float, and we get out at Smoots Park, and that's another facility there at Wilkesboro that they have very, very nice parks and recreation, and that's one of the main parks in the city is Smoot Park. Then if somebody wants to really get involved in the canoeing and kayaking, you can actually go as far as down to Taronda. And so it's shallow most of the places, as easy as flowing, and it's just relaxing and enjoyable.
Well, a trip down to Taronda would take the full day.
That's a full day endeavor. Yeah. Yes, it is, and it.
Right. Well, tell us, why did you get into this type of business? Was it something that of interest, or?
Well, it was interest, and I have property. My primary residence is Greensboro, but
Right.
I'm fallen in love, and I have a home in Wilkes County.
Okay.
And I stay there more than I do at my home in Greensboro at the present time. But we having property there, and realizing that I lived in Greensboro, had honestly never heard of W. Kerr Scott Lake.
Not many people have down that way.
And what we were trying to do, we had people in yesterday from Durham. We were getting a lot of church groups, so we can entertain groups, individuals, families, special occasions, and what have you. But we decided to get into that. In the business scenario, I've always tried to be non-competitive in a competitive market. So this tub, which is a stock tank, I thought would be a little niche in the market.
Yeah.
And it's beginning to be one of our top requested floats. So we got into it, and it has been interesting. And we can't control the weather, but other than the weather, we got you covered.
That's right.
Exactly.
What's your season? You run from April, or when do you really start the season?
We actually get our feet wet about April 15th.
Okay.
And try to maintain a full schedule until October the 1st or October the 15th. So we got about a 6 months window.
That's great.
Of
yes.
trying to do it. And in the event that then it might drift down to weekends, and if it does, we always are booking. And if you book any rental, if you could give us a day to 2 days upfront notice, then we will see if we can make sure that we got equipment for you to rent.
Open every day?
Every day at the present time.
Okay, during the summer.
Yes, ma'am,
especially.
during the summer.
Weather permitting.
Weather permitting, and of course the heavy is from Memorial Day to Labor Day is your big time, and then children are going back to school. But we encourage groups and a lot of church groups, youth groups, scouts, and it's just a combination. Again, I think one of the reasons we looked at this place was that there's nobody in the state that I'm aware of, Linda, that has the proximity of servicing a river and a lake at the same time.
You're probably very right about that.
So I'm not positive, but I think I haven't seen another one.
Right. All right, tell us once again where you're located and how's the best way for someone to give you a call?
Right, good question. We're located in Wilkes County, Wilkesboro, and our exit, whether you're coming from the Boone or Watauga area or Ash, or Watauga area, if you're coming from Boone on 421, you would exit 286B, and as you exit 286B, it goes down to the stoplight. At the stoplight, you take a right. It's 268 West, and our address is 2618 Highway 268 West. And as a landmark, we're the first business past the YMCA, located there in Wilkesboro. And so that's our physical location, but we're as close as the phone at all times.
And that number is?
336-990-0000.
What a number.
We tried to make that and I almost forgot it. But anyway, 990, area code 336-990-0000.
Website is? And
the website, we've certainly had some nice comments on it, but our website is foothillsoutdooradventures.com. And if you pull that up, it'll show you the diversity of what we do have to offer. And if you do look it up and have any questions, call us, and I'm around the clock. Is that if we're on a shuttle or we're not physically at the location, we have the telephone number to roll over to my personal cell phone.
Oh, good. So they can contact you.
You can call early in the morning. Well, not too early, but you can call and we'll be responding as soon as possible.
Thank you, John, for being with us today.
Thank you.
That's Foothills Outdoor Adventures, located on Highway 268 West in Wilkesboro. Hope you'll call him and make your next trip down the river a fun one. Now I'd like to share with you what's going on in Wilkesboro. On this Friday night, we have the Friday Night Candy Dancer Jam Session. That's the Wilkes Folks Acoustic Society. So if you like to pick and like to hear the good music, just come on down and be a part of it. It will be at the depot in North Wilkesboro, the old depot. So just bring your lawn chair and stretch out your legs and enjoy the music. Then on Friday night as well, we have the open air market this week, and that's in Wilkesboro. If you need some fresh produce or like to have some good crafts, come on to the open air market. Open air market starts at 4 and runs through to 8 o'clock, and there's always music at the open air market. The Brushy Mountain Shag Group will be there this Friday night. They'll teach you how to shag if you like the beach music. So come be a part of that. If you don't like to shag but like to listen and watch, sit down and relax and enjoy it. On the 8th of August, we have the second annual Native American Gathering. This is an Native American powwow. You can come and enjoy the native foods, the flint making, storytelling, flute players, vendors, and amazing Native American dancers. Bring your lawn chair, spend the day with us. All the drums are welcome, so if you like to play a drum and be a part of it, please come and enjoy the vendors and the dancers. It's open free to the public. Again, that is on August the 8th. Starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's going to be at W. Kerr Scott Dam and Reservoir. And I'm thinking that's going to be right there at Dark Mountain Trail. So you enjoy that. You will need to bring your lawn chairs. There is not seating there. On Saturday, August 9th, we have the Wilkes County Cruisers coming back to the town of North Wilkesboro. There are about 300 plus cars, all very classic cars that have been redone, and they're beautiful sitting on the streets, and they're open up their trunks and their hoods so you can see the motors and see all those cars. That's on Saturday, August the 9th. It begins at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I think they stay until everybody leaves, until they just stop having a good time. That night, on the afternoon, that we have the lawnmower races. And that's the Carolina Mowing Racing Association. The lawnmower races take place at W. Kerr Scott. It's at the Worth Tomlinson Fairgrounds. And the Worth Tomlinson Fairgrounds is located on D Street in North Wilkesboro. They've built their own track there, and it's quite a track. But you will have lawnmowers with 5 to 18 horsepower going around that track, and it's really something to watch. It's very action-oriented, lots of fun for the whole family. We have as many as 3,500 people that come to these lawnmower races. It's a very competitive race, and those lawnmowers go rather fast. The Candlelight Ghost Tours are back in town the town of Wilkesboro. Again, that's on August the 9th, at Saturday night. The ghost tours start at the Wilkes Heritage Museum. The ghost tours have been very, very popular. They begin at 7:30 and run through 9 o'clock. And the tours are every half hour. There is a fee, and many times you'll need to make a reservation because those book up quite rapidly. But you'll get to go through the historic landmarks in Wilkesboro and hear all the ghostly tales. There are paranormal investigations of the old jail, the slave cabin, the Tory Oak, and the Cleveland home. They begin very soon, so you'll want to be a part of the ghost tours. Wilkesboro Raceway Park is back in action on August 9th as well. You'll have a lot of gear jammers, funny cars, motorcycles, and jet cars. Come out and test and tune every Thursday night. If you've got one of those hot rods and you'd like to see how fast it'll go out on Thursday nights and they'll let you get on the track and try it out. There is an admission and there's concessions right on the spot. So be sure you come out and bring the kids. The kids absolutely love that. The vineyards are gearing back up and they are really having a lot of activities. Raffle Dini's going to have Vine and Dine Gala. That's going to be on August the 9th as well. Lots of things happening in August. We have a Freeport Jazz and Yadkin Valley Brass concert that's taking place on August the 16th in downtown North Wilkesboro. That's free. It's on the parking deck. That starts at 6 o'clock and runs until 10. Great time to come out again and dance and listen to the wonderful music. I have Four Seasons wine tasting at Raffle Dini on the 16th. Check out Raffle Dini's website. They have something going on just about every single weekend. So you'll want to take advantage of all the things that they have going on. Lots of things happening in Wilkesboro. Come see us.